environmentalist Loren Howe. He also is featured on YouTube, and he talks about a lot of interesting subjects, and this is how I found Loren, and I really thought he would be a great candidate towards sustainability because he has quite an understanding about money, health, and religion, and he's written a book about it. Loren, you state in your book, The Real Story of Money, Health, and Religion will help people make improved decisions and choices in their life with the understanding of consciousness and knowledge. You cover main principles of wealth management, diet, and spirituality. Where does an individual or family begin to further their understanding?
Well, I think there are a lot of ways, and luckily nowadays with the internet it's easier than ever to learn about any subject. I guess I was fortunate that living in Los Angeles you meet a lot of people with alternative ideas and people from different cultures, so that helped me a lot as well. So I would say forums online that deal with different topics are a great resource. Networking with people who are successful in a given field is a great resource. And just books.
All right. In your book, you talk about the banking industry. Could you give us a little bit of insight to what your opinions as an expert author as far as the banking industry and what's involved in the banking industry to further our understanding?
Well, I'm not an economist, but anyone can study and determine for themselves what they think of the banking industry. Basically, we have fractional reserve banking, which has been around for a long time, and it's not really a sustainable, to go along with your theme of sustainability, it's never been sustainable. There are always runs on banks when you have fractional reserve banking because the bank is promising money to depositors and it's lending out money at the same time. So fractional reserve banking has never really been sustainable. And then in various countries for the last few hundred years, and in the United States since the early 1900s, the banking industry would then create a central bank so that when there was a run on the bank, they could create money out of thin air to give to the bank basically, or to lend to the bank to stop those runs. And then this creates inflation because the central bank is creating money out of thin air, giving it to banks every time there's a run on the bank, or just to continue the inflationary cycle. And this inflationary cycle basically allows banks to constantly lend money and collect interest on the money that they've lent because the money supply itself is always inflating.
Right. Okay. Personally, you quote in your book, I prefer to earn money producing something of value. Gamblers only gain by taking others. Could you give us an example of something that would have value?
Well, in that quote I was talking about investing versus just working a regular job, because there's so many people who invest and they're all have the idea that when I invest I have to gain. And they have this idea because the money's inflating, so technically you do have to gain in dollar terms. But to have a true gain when you invest, then